Kiana.
I was ready. What's
I've
up?
seen it. Oh, just hanging out, working again. So, been busy.
That's fun. I've been changing bins from wood shavings to cocoa chunk all day.
Yeah, I still have to set up that new rack I got, so I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, that looked fancy. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, for all the people that don't know, I got a new rack from First Strike. It's a 20 bin, and my dog's being an asshole. It's a 20 bin, 16 quart. It's going to be for all my hatchlings because the Madagascar Giants, I think, are pretty big when they hatch out. So I went the next size up instead of doing a 6 quart like most people do because I think they just look too cramped and there's not enough space. So I'm going to be setting that up. I got the CHP logo done on one drawer, and then I got the Ectotherm Creations on the other drawer. So it looks pretty badass, except I got to find
Were
paint
you
markers.
pouring epoxy or resin or whatever in
I was
those?
going to, but the grooves are really thin, so I'm just going to get acrylic paint markers and paint them in.
Paint marker. Sweet. Yeah. I think it'll look really cool and like really pop when it's like that.
Yeah, because I got a white rack because everything else is white except for my vision rack and like this
that one. Yeah.
So most of my stuff's white. I like the white PVC versus the black. Makes my room not look so dark.
Yeah, it looks nice and bright.
Yeah. So that's all about's new with me. Oh, besides putting money on more snakes.
I am paying off a snake. That's it. Slowly but surely getting there.
I'm paying off apparently 3 snakes now all of a sudden.
Oops. Nope. I'm only at 1.
Yeah. Well, it was like I had the opportunity to buy the one that I've been wanting to buy from a buddy of mine for a while. So I'm just like, all right, I'm doing it. No other opportunity. So.
Well, with those less common species, you usually just kind of jump on them when they're offered.
Are you sharing the crap out of this post? Because my phone is going off.
Are you getting some notifications?
All of them.
Everybody's getting notifications right now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm almost done. This is the second time I've done this today. Okay, I'm good. I'm done.
Yeah, so
everybody, since I've now spanned 20 groups with this post, let's introduce our guest today.
We're going to learn about tarantulas. And then this weekend coming up, you're going to also be learning more about tarantulas as well. So
I don't think it's this weekend. I think it's the one after.
No, it's this weekend.
Is it?
Yeah.
Didn't Dr. Gardner's episode come out this last week?
Oh, maybe it's next week.
Yeah, duh.
My days are all messed up right now. So
okay, let's get our guest in here. Welcome,
Hi.
Chad Miller.
Hi, everyone. So I am Chad Miller, administrator of Tarantulas in Canada Facebook group, as well as Scorpions in Canada Facebook group, since there was no Canadian version, so I made one.
Yes.
So you can all go on Facebook and find those. I do not use Instagram. I'm old school. Facebook, and more Facebook. A little bit of Twitter, but not for reptile stuff.
I don't understand Twitter.
Yeah, I don't really either. It's bullshit. I only got it to follow RuPaul's Drag Race Queen.
That works.
But, I also moderate a few other Facebook groups, such as Canadian Ball Python forums and a couple for Quebec groups. And I don't even know. I'm in so many groups right now that I don't remember which ones I administrate and moderate anymore. So that's me. And I'm going to talk to you about tarantula basics today, because I own many and I have owned many, and I'm going to show you some differences of different ones in babies, juveniles, old world, new world, etc. So
I'm excited.
Yes.
I like tarantulas, but they make my heart race and they make me feel lightheaded and woozy at the same time.
When I first held a tarantula or scorpion, I was like 16, and I was into reptiles already and amphibians. Arachnids were new to me, and I was like, okay, well, what do I do? And they're like, just lay your hand flat. They put it on me, they took it off, and I was like, oh, that's not so bad. I would say they kind of feel like short hair hamster.
Interesting.
Especially
My introduction to tarantulas was in high school, and we all went and partied at this one guy's house, and he would always take his tarantula out and just like put it on people to scare the crap out of them. I didn't have a good interaction.
Do that because it creates fear.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Because like I've never had a tarantula hurt me. Like I don't have a like realistic reason to fear them. You know, I'm well aware that my snakes can bite me just as much as a tarantula can, but I'm not afraid of my snakes, you know?
Yeah.
But damn,
Yeah,
tarantulas make my heart race.
You gotta just realize that they're more scared of you than you're of them. They can bite, they are venomous, but they're not deadly to humans. A lot of people have this misconception of, oh, a tarantula can kill you. There are literally 0 reports of a tarantula killing a human to date, unless it's somewhere where they don't report stuff like that.
So you're just gonna have a bad time.
Depending. If it's a New World species, no, because their venom isn't as strong. The worst, I've only been bitten by 2 tarantulas in my life. One when I was like 17 and changed its water right after just feeding it, so it was still in like I want to eat mode, and movement caused it to bite me. So that was my mistake. My finger was a little warm and tingly for a few hours, and that was it, but it was a New World species. My other tarantula bite, I was going to an expo as a vendor, and I was putting it from the container it was in into another one to bring to the expo. Well, she got out and bit me on the hand. That was a Heteroscodra maculata, which is the Togo starburst baboon. I believe this is the common name. It's an old world. I was in bed for 5 days. I had pain almost within 10 minutes through my whole arm.
Wow.
The only thing that helped a bit was going in the bathtub with hot water. But as soon as I took it out, it was like not okay. So I stayed in bed for 5 days, and I had muscle spasms for about 3 weeks after.
Was it just in your arm that you had the muscle spasms?
No, I have them in other places, but I also have fibromyalgia, so could be
probably a secondary reaction, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's the way venom works, you know, of all kinds. You never know how it's going to react with individuals because they may have something else going on that causes the venom to do something unexpected.
Well, everybody's body reacts to foreign proteins differently.
Yep. And the other thing is, I didn't take any Benadryl or anything. Someone said it might have helped. I didn't think of it at the time.
Yeah.
I just stayed in bed because I was feeling shitty. My whole arm was hurting me.
Yeah, I probably would have just slept it off. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me.
Yeah. But that pain, it started really fast. Like, the initial bite hurt, but was like, okay, you know. And then it was I had enough time to get the tarantula where I wanted her, close it, and then the pain started. Probably about 5-10 minutes in.
Wow.
We're going to try not to get bitten today by an old world tarantula.
Please don't get bitten today. Brandon gets bit on the show every now and then.
Yeah. As long as I don't handle that snake, it usually doesn't happen. So.
Oh, it's only one snake that bites you?
Yeah, she's a bitch.
I have multiple snakes, but only one bit me recently. Ish. And that was like when I just brought it home and put it into its container. So.
Well, the hatchlings bite me all the time, but that's the hatchlings. But this female blonde hognose just absolutely hates being touched. She's also wild caught from last year, so she's definitely not a fan.
Still temperamental.
Yeah, and she gave me a mild envenomation, so that was a fun time.
So fun.
It's a blast. Always a blast.
Yeah. So it wasn't like super bad or anything, but the next one could be worse.
See, I live near Montreal. I moved to the South Shore recently, but I live in the province of Quebec. We are allowed hognose snakes here, but we can't have anything super venomous, which I find kind of misleading because you can have a deadly scorpion, but you can't have a deadly snake. And hognose are one of the few rear fang venomous we can own, yet you can't have any boiga or anything like that. So it's really strange how they'll allow hognoses, but not like mangrove snakes or cat-eyed snakes. Although I did see a store selling them recently, so I don't know if something changed or if they're doing it illegally or what. But either way, we can't have cool stuff in Quebec.
We can't have a lot of cool stuff here. No.
Yeah, we can't have anything cool
Guys,
here.
Unless it's recently discovered and it's not on the list. So
Take advantage.
I found ways around that. It's just now I have to get them.
Is that the Parastenophis?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they were discovered like 10 years ago or something, and they're in their own family, so they're not on the list.
What are they?
Because Isla's never heard of them.
They're Parastenophis spastilianus.
They look like a California king snake, but they live in the trees.
Yeah.
And they're rear-fanged?
Yeah, rear-fang venomous lizard eaters.
Interesting.
And that's all I know about them. And they look cool.
I also have a Facebook page that is severely needing an update because I have animals on there and pictures that I don't even own anymore. But that's it is called Import Miller, which is in French. It basically translates to Miller Imports, but because I'm in Quebec, I made my business name in French. So on Facebook, it is spelled IMPORTATIONS space Miller, MILLER. So we'll put the link for that later. I don't know how to do that, but I'll
Give me 2 seconds and I can post it.
Technology.
looking for arachnids. I do arachnid imports from Poland and Germany, mostly Poland. And I do scorpion imports as well. Although with COVID, that made it very difficult this year. So hopefully next year will be better. For a while, they weren't shipping anything by flight. It was a disaster getting things during COVID. We made it work. Oh, you found it. Perfect.
I did find it.
There you go.
That's posted in the comments, so you guys can just give that a click.
Hey, we have comments. I'm not even looking at that right now.
It's just Lem. Hi, Lem. I mean, it's not just Lem. It's Lem. Hello.
So, I guess to start, we can do a quick introduction. You can tell me some things you'd like to know, and then I will show you some tarantulas to fit those.
Okay. What is there a difference between a tarantula and a spider?
Yes, a true spider. If you look up the definition on Google, there was a very good description I found on Yahoo that explains it well. But true spiders have opposing fangs that when they bite down, or when they close them or whatever have you. Well, not closing, but they do a downward motion like this. Tarantulas, they go up and down vertically. But true spiders have opposing fangs where they go down diagonally, one that way, one that way. So kind of making it like that.
Interesting.
Also, when you look at the higher up classification using scientific terms, you have Araneae and Mycomorphae. That is where it splits from the higher one, which I forget the name of right now. It's been a while since I looked this up. But if you type into the difference between a tarantula and true spider, there's a link. There was a Yahoo answer back when Yahoo had answers on it that explained it really well. That explained that that's where they kind of branch off. So there's like some higher order of spiders, which might be Arachnidae, that then splits to Arachnae and Mycomorphae. And Mycomorphae has your tarantulas and kind of funnel web spiders like macrophyllae and things, which are not tarantulas but closely related. So the true spiders actually branch off. So a lot of people still call tarantulas spiders, but scientifically there is a break in the family tree separating Mygalomorphae, which are tarantulas, and Mygalomorphs from true spiders. And to the contrary popular belief, I should say, daddy long legs are actually not spiders because they only have 6 legs.
Really?
So, something else, yeah. They're not true spiders either.
I just always thought they had 8 legs.
6.
I'm already learning.
Yes. It's quite interesting. They do have supposedly a very dangerous venom, or a strong venom that they actually, if they could bite us, wouldn't be very, I don't know how bad it is exactly. I've just heard it's quite strong. The thing is, though, because they have such small fangs, they can only bite our skin directly after shower when the skin is still moist enough to be penetrated by those fangs.
That's what I heard too. It was like they had quite a potent venom, but like didn't have the delivery system to deliver it to us, essentially.
Unlike American fans, so that's a few myths.
Oh, hang on. Wait for this one. Okay, here's a follow up for our daddy long leg question. So what are they classified as?
So I don't know 100% because I haven't looked at it on Google yet. But as far as I know, they're somewhere between a true spider and something. They're not an insect. I believe they're still considered arachnids, but they're just a rare arachnid that doesn't have 8 legs.
I'm looking this up right now.
Oh, thanks. I was just getting my screen set.
I think they're similar to the same can be said about there's something called six-eyed sand spiders, which are Sicarius species. Those ones also have 6 eyes, but I don't know if they have 8 legs or not. Because I don't see any spiders like this, I've never looked enough to know what the biology behind them is. So if you guys, I can't Google it right now either because I'm on my phone and it makes me leave the live.
Folicidae.
Daddy longlegs don't produce silk. That's cool.
They do or they do not?
They don't.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. They kind of just make these things and they kind of just stay in the corner. I don't know what they do.
Hey, Arachnimorphae, I can't say this. Arachnida. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they differ because they don't have they have a fused abdomen into the thoracic cavity, and spiders of the Arani have distinct waist between the cephalothorax and the abdomen.
Yeah,
cephalothorax.
That's the word.
The main body and the abdomen do have a slight separation in. I guess it was a movie. I don't know. I guess it's in Mygalomorphae as well.
And apparently, daddy longlegs are not venomous. They do not have fangs nor venom glands.
Who?
Daddy longlegs. They don't have venom glands or fangs.
So I wonder how they deliver the venom, or
they don't have venom glands, I guess. Or that's what it says in this article. So I'd have to look at like 5 others to come to a conclusion.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out and get back to you on that. But I know daddy longlegs do have venom. I don't know how they would produce it without venom sacs, but maybe they have a different way.
It's very possible.
For another time.
Yeah. And the other question she asked was, how many tarantula species do I have?
Yeah.
Right now, I don't know 100% because I got a couple of new tarantulas recently, but I'd say right now I probably have at least 10 to 20. but there's some that I have more than one of. And in the past, I used to at one point have close to 200 tarantulas and about 50 scorpions, probably 30 to 60 species altogether of tarantulas and scorpions at the time.
Wow.
So,
Lem also asked, how many tarantula species have you worked with?
that's a lot because since I import and resell, I have had in my possession multiple species that I didn't own personally, but that I brought in to resell and had for a week or two, or whatever the time I had them between bringing them to whoever purchased them. So I've worked with, I can't even answer that, a lot. Pretty much any tarantula that's sold in Canada, I've probably at least worked with once.
Do you know how many species of tarantulas there are?
Thousands, especially since there's some that aren't in the hobby yet and some that haven't been discovered yet. So there's thousands. How many? Yeah. I don't know. 5
I know
to
it's
6,000.
I know it's probably more than there is species of reptiles on the planet. So.
Yeah, I think so. I would say so because just in like the Pistoleria genus alone, which is your like Indian ornamentals and Goody Sapphire or the Metallica regalis, there's like 14. And there's some genera that have like more, like Avicularia, especially since the new revision of Avicularia. There's all the pink toes, like there's tons. And some of them got split into other genera that were not.
I can't say it. Tilcolotl.
I call it Teal-Tecatl.
Yeah, that sounds more right.
Yeah, so Brachypelma was split into 2 genera. The what we call red legs stayed in Brachypelma, and the Teal-Tecatl was like the red rumps and the Schroederi, which is a black Brachypelma, only purely black species. And trying to remember, well, Vacans is a red rump, Schroederi, Angustum. I don't know if it went to Teal-Tecatl or if at one point they were calling it Sericopelma species Angustum. I haven't looked that up recently. But I know that all the general red rumps, so like Vagans, Verdezi, Epicureanium, well, the Albopolossus, which is the only one that isn't a red rump, or it's kind of the one that's different from the rest, because Albopolossus is a curly hair, which has 2 variants, the hobby form and the Nicaragua form, because they were so hybridized in the hobby that they decided to import. Interesting because the name and names for them is Mandarin curly hair.
I'm not sure what happened to your audio, but it's all muffled.
Oh, is it better now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What did you last understand?
Retract by a minute.
Lem, it's red rump, not red rum. Red booty.
Yes. Okay. No, red rump. RUMP. Teal-Tecatl vagans. Don't ask me to spell that right now. Actually, I probably could. TLIL TO CATL. I think is how it's spelled now.
I think so. I just know that you pronounce the N the same as you pronounce axolotl.
Yeah, Teal-Tecatl.
Yeah, I think you're saying it right, or fairly close. That you shouldn't offend someone.
Lem was wondering, do you have a favorite species? If so, which one? Don't worry, I won't tell the others.
I can actually see it when you bring it up on the screen. Favorite species. It's very hard for me because there's a few favorites that I have, and this includes ones I've worked with and ones that I owned in the past and that I don't own now. I think one of my favorite, because it's so underrated, is Ensiocratella olivacea. But then because I love the color blue, I love my Metallica. I love Tasmai. I love green bottle blues, which are Chromatopelma cyneopubescens. And my favorite tarantula in my collection, probably because I can handle her as much as I want, but I can't show her today because she molted this week, is my Brachypelma emelia. That girl, I can put her on her back. Now, I don't recommend handling tarantulas. They don't enjoy it. They don't have the part of the brain that senses emotions. They tolerate it. And it does stress them every time. But this girl, I can put her on her back, which I only do it to show people how docile she is when I'm showing someone who's scared of tarantulas, to say, hey, look, this one you can handle. It's how she's my way of combating people's fear.
An ambassador, essentially.
Basically. So I do things with her that I wouldn't normally do. And I don't do it every day. I actually didn't even know when she molted exactly, because I only open her cage usually once every couple of weeks. Well, her bin, to feed her. So. She's an adult female, so she doesn't need to eat often. Now that she molted, I'm trying to find a home for her. Another species that I used to love, and it's been so hard to find, is Euophalis species red. I had 3 females that were wild caught that I imported from Germany.
You're muffled again.
Tell me when it's better.
You're good.
I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, so
Are you putting your finger over the mic?
no, my fingers are on the side of my phone holding it.
Weird.
Okay, so what did you last understand?
You imported wild caught ones from Germany.
Okay, so it was Euophalis species red. And these were wild caught females that were, I don't know how long they were in captivity, but I imported them from Germany. I wish I still had them, but unfortunately, they were wild caught. I don't know their age, and they passed on between then and now. But they were. Okay, if this is going to be heavy anthropomorphism, I always forget how to pronounce that word. Because.
Dimorphism?
No, you know when you put human characteristics onto an animal?
Anthropomorphize.
Yeah. That one.
This is
that
going
word.
to be, yeah. So this is going to be heavy anthropomorphizing, whatever you pronounce. I can never pronounce it without reading it. Either way, tarantulas
projecting human feelings onto your animals.
Yeah. So, for lack of a better way of describing it, because I know it was not for these reasons, but these girls, every time I opened their thing to try and feed them or give them water, they willingly crawled out onto my hand as though they were dogs waiting to be let out. I swear, whatever you want to believe, I know that they don't have human emotions. I know that they weren't willing to come out. But these girls, I would open it and they would be on my hand faster. Like, I'd be trying to just give them water and be like, no, go back in. It's not time to come out and play. And they don't play. But you got the feeling that they wanted to. And it was just crazy. And these were wild caught. They were calmer and, for lack of a better term, friendlier, tamer, more tolerant than some of my captive bred species that weren't wild caught.
I wonder if they were just like some naturally more inquisitive animals.
That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know why, because tarantulas are ambush predators. Their way of living is to sit in a hole, wait for something to pass by, and bite, and kill it.
It doesn't make sense that they would be inquisitive.
No. And I could understand if they were mature males, because mature males will roam looking for females. That's about the only time they roam around, because they basically mature, mate, and die.
Yeah.
But these girls, they were female, always wanting to come out.
What's the general life expectancy difference between male and female tarantulas? Because I know it's pretty drastic.
It is. So it very highly depends on the species, because some species mature longer than others. And some mature males can live 6 months, 3 months, a year, 3 years, depending on how long it is a species that takes to mature. Like Grammostolas that take 8 to 10 years to mature, the males can live like 3-5 years after. Whereas Avicularia is 3 to 6 months. But I do know someone who has a Carabena versicolor male. I don't know if he's still alive, named Jupiter. He molted twice since maturing, which is extremely rare, and they usually don't survive when it happens. They call them post-ultimate molt because their penultimate molt is the molt before maturing, usually. So usually a male that's about to mature, we call him he's a penultimate male, which means he should be in his last molt cycle before maturing. He molted twice and was still mating about 2.5, 3 years after maturing and still producing viable egg sacs.
Wow.
He's an exception because Carabena versicolors used to be Avicularia versicolor. They got split into their own genus, but it's an arbor New World species. They usually don't stay mature longer than about 6 months or a year.
They're so pretty.
They are. They really are. But I don't understand Jupiter. He belongs or did belong at. I would have to ask Rose Keefe if she still has him. She lives in Hamilton. She's very popular at expos. She helps out all the vendors with tarantulas, and she has snakes as well. So she pretty much goes around visiting everyone and gets in for free all the time because she's always helping somebody. She's an amazing woman. Breeds a lot of colubrids. Just a really down to earth sweet woman, and she has that Jupiter. I don't know what she did, but he was still alive at the last time I talked to her about him a few years ago. So.
I had zero luck with that species.
Yeah, they're hard. I believe that he was still alive when I spoke to her about him a few years ago. I think I might have seen her at one point say that he died finally. I say finally not because we wanted him to, but just that it finally did happen. But I can't remember. But I know that if he's not dead yet, she will be heartbroken when he does, because on top of being a remarkable example of the species of something living way past his expiration date, you could say, he's super sweet too and was handleable. So
that's super cool.
Yeah.
Lem's got another question, so
I'm gonna read it now. Or do you want me to read it out loud?
Sure.
Okay, so my tarantula knowledge is very minimal, so a couple other questions. What does or should their diet consist of? Is it basically the same across the species that you know of, or does it differ? So you can ask me any question you want. I have no problem answering questions. That's what I'm here for. Tarantulas are mainly insectivorous, slightly carnivorous. However, pinky mice and small birds are not recommended because they have a lot of calcium, and calcium isn't very good for tarantulas. So with reptiles and amphibians, you often dust with multivitamins and vitamin and D3 and calcium. Tarantulas, it's not good to do that. It's not good for their exoskeleton. I mainly feed crickets. You can feed mealworms and superworms as well. I always say variety is not bad, but it's just, for me, I find a lot of, especially baby tarantulas, getting them to eat, something small enough for them. Mealworms, they're pretty big, so you have to cut them up in pieces. So for me, it's easier to just rip off cricket legs. If we were in the States, I would say dubia roaches, because dubia roaches are, they range in size from tiny, tiny, tiny babies to adult males with wings. So they're good for all tarantulas, and one dubia roach is worth like 5 to 10 crickets, depending on the size. So nutritional value is higher. Unfortunately, dubia roaches and all cockroaches, aside from, I think, German roaches, which are considered red runners, are illegal in Canada.
There's 2 species that are legal.
Yeah, there's like a couple, but I don't think
you have to be able to prove their origin that comes within Canada and all stuff.
Yeah, so it's a lot more difficult.
I
know that they
invest.
Yeah, and in case you ask, because I know that probably this question is going to come up, the dubia roaches that are sold pre-dead wouldn't be bad for tarantulas, but because tarantulas are ambush predators, they usually won't eat something that's not moving.
Yeah.
Except for babies that will scavenge, so it's a lot harder to feed dead stuff to them, which is why even the dead legal to have dubia roaches are not really. I mean, you could try tongue feeding tarantulas, some of them will do it, but most of my tarantulas wouldn't. So. Crickets it is.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Gotta
You
do what
make-
works.
Yeah, you make do with what you have access to make your animals the healthiest.
Exactly. A pinky mouse occasionally, like once every couple of months, would be okay for a bigger tarantula as a treat, but shouldn't be a staple food.
So, you said that they could eat some, like carnivorous stuff, but pinkies and stuff like that weren't the best. Is there something you would recommend over like pinkies or birds?
Honestly, because of the high calcium content, not more than once every month or two as a treat.
Yeah.
And it would be like one. I say carnivorous slightly because they can eat them, but they're generally classified as insectivorous.
They'll take advantage of a meal.
Exactly. Because they're opportunistic ambush predators, they will eat what they can. So yes, there have been tarantulas found in the wild eating a bird. There's a lot of tarantulas that have the word bird eater in their common names because they think that they eat birds. They actually don't eat birds like all the time as a rule. It's just that somebody found it and named it that. Which is why I highly dislike common names, because there are multiple species that have different names depending on where you are in the world. For example, I could relate it to a ball python. We call it a ball python in North America, but in Europe they call it a royal python.
Yeah.
So, for example, a Mexican red leg or fire leg is Brachypelma boehmei, but some other places they refer to Brachypelma emilia as the true Mexican red leg. So it's very confusing to have the same. And then, like some places, Iaphonopelma bicolораtum, which is not a Brachypelma, is also considered a Mexican blood leg because it has very red legs. So that's why I don't like common names, because depending on where you are, whereas if you go and say Iaphonopelma bicolораtum or Brachypelma boehmei, everyone knows exactly which spider you're talking about right away.
I don't.
I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. Everybody who knows tarantulas or who has studied basic scientific names of tarantulas will know what you're referring to. Yeah.
Why are you wearing sunglasses, Brandon?
Because I can't see without them.
They're not his sunglasses. They're his Bubbles glasses.
Yeah, they're work safety glasses because my regular glasses lenses are all messed up. So these are prescriptions, and I cannot see without them because I am blind as a bat, and I don't have bat capabilities to see things around me. So I need glasses.
Oh man. What is the difference between New World and Old World, if I didn't ask that already?
We didn't, but we will get that because that's very important. So, as it may be implied, New World tarantulas come from North America, South America, Central America, and the Caribbean islands. Old World comes from any continent such as Africa, Europe, Asia, and I believe they consider
You're muffled again.
There's also a weird sound coming from somewhere.
I don't know. Brandon, are you making a noise?
Sounds like a vacuum or water running.
I can actually kind of hear it too.
My computer fan's kind of loud, but it's just my GPU fan, so.
It stopped now, whatever it was. Okay, so what did you last hear me say?
I don't know, so I'll just ask my question again. What's the difference between New World and Old World?
Yes, so we're gonna go there because it's very important. So, as the name and the words might be implied, New World being any North American, South American, or Central American tarantula, as well as the Caribbeans. Basically, how the New World, whatever Christopher Columbus uh, discovered when he came from Europe. And Old World would be anything from Africa, Europe, Asia, Middle East, and I think Australia is considered Old World as well. I'm not 100% sure and the difference between it's actually very easy to see between tarantulas of Old and New World, with a couple of exceptions, is that Old World tarantulas do not have urticating hairs. Urticating hairs are hairs on the abdomens that tarantulas will kick off as a defense mechanism, which are itchy, and to smaller animals, when they inhale them, make it harder for them to breathe, allowing the tarantula to run away. And when they molt, they will usually kick off their hairs around them to make a molt mat, so that if anything approaches them during that extremely delicate portion of their lifetime, the hairs will stop the predators from being able to get close to them, because they'll start getting itchy and stuff.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's a really neat adaptation.
For sure. There is one genus of New World tarantulas that I know of for sure. There could be others that do not have urticating hairs, which is Thalmopius. So they do have a slight stronger venom because of that, but not quite as strong as Old World. That's another thing, is that because New World tarantulas do have the urticating hairs, their venom is a lot less strong. So usually it's measured to be about 1/10 of these things, whereas the Old World tarantulas, like I was saying with Maculata, have venom that can cause serious pain and discomfort for long-lasting effects.
You're muffled again.
Yeah, when your computer fan turns on, it muffles me.
That's fucking weird. My computer fan.
As soon as I hear that again.
My fan's been running this whole time, so.
Well, there's something that comes on for a couple of seconds and goes off again. And whenever that happens, I go muffled. What I was saying is that Thalmopius do not have urticating hairs, and Old World tarantulas have stronger venom because they lack the urticating hairs. So because they don't have those hairs as a defense mechanism, they have stronger venom to make up for it. Still not deadly, like I said earlier, but that's why the Maculata put me out of, existence for a few days.
Definitely.
That's why we say that Old World tarantulas do have medically significant venom, because it can cause painful, longer-lasting effects. They say that the worst venom belongs to the Poecilotheria genus, or Stromatopelma calceatum. Very bad venom, but I haven't been bitten by either of those, and I don't want to find out. You can type in bite reports, though, on Google and find people who described how it felt.
My best friend's dad went mountain biking down in Arizona, and while they were camping out there, and while they were sleeping, he took 5 stings from a scorpion in the groin, and he was a hurting unit for a while. Every time I went over there, he had a bag of frozen peas in his lap for quite a while.
Yeah. The good thing about it is that most scorpions in Arizona are not deadly. It was probably a desert hairy scorpion or some sort of less dangerous bark scorpion, because there are a few in Arizona. It's hard to say which one it was, but most scorpions in the U.S. are not deadly. They may have a stronger venom than, let's say, an emperor, but not enough to kill a human. I'm not sure if any of the bark scorpions there are deadly, though, because there are some deadly bark scorpion species or higher potency venom.
Okay, so scorpions are probably a little bit more advanced than tarantulas, or does it really all depend on the species?
Define what you mean by advanced.
Experience a keeper should have, I guess.
Not necessarily. There are multiple scorpion species that are good for beginners as well. Emperor scorpions, Asian forest scorpions, and desert hairy scorpions are probably the three I would recommend most for beginners because they all have lower potency venoms. The worst one out of the three would be the desert hairy. If it does sting you, supposedly it feels like you hit yourself with a hammer.
Great. Feels great.
Yeah, but better than dying.
Yes.
Except that scorpion venom, if you're allergic to other insects' venom, you can be allergic to scorpion venom and die from it. Tarantula venom, supposedly, and I've seen this, a lot of people post controversial answers to this, but from what I read, they don't have histamines, and for you to be allergic to something, histamines need to be present. As far as I understood, and this may have been changed over years of doing more research, but tarantula venom doesn't have histamines, therefore you can't be allergic to it, because when you take Benadryl to stop an allergic reaction, that's an antihistamine.
Yep.
So for it to give you an allergic reaction, but I've heard that there is something else in tarantula venom that you can be allergic to, but I've never heard of anyone having an allergic reaction yet either. So I still don't know what the true scientific answer to that is. But as far as I know, you can be allergic to scorpion venom, not tarantula venom. Or at least not in the same way as scorpions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of questions pass by on the screen.
Yeah.
Is there an obvious feature to differentiate between male and female? Yes and no.
Eventually.
It's because a lot of tarantula species, the males, when they mature, will develop tibial hooks on the front pair of legs and bulbous pedipalps, which are the inside closest two legs, which aren't really legs, because when we say the legs of tarantula, we're talking about the 8 leg. The pedipalps are two very smaller legs that are closer to the fangs that they mostly use kind of to grab things, not to walk with. So they're not considered part of the 8 tarantula legs. But
are they arms? Because they sound like arms.
in a way, I guess. I don't know what they're considered. We just refer to them as pedipalps. And so they, on the males, will turn bulbous and have a little hook that comes, and that's what they use to insert their sperm into the female. So they will, to basically explain this in a way that you can understand, they finger the females with them and insert the sperm.
Well, and don't they just basically like spooge into their paw and then like finger blast the ladies?
Basically, what they do is they create a sperm web and then they load up their pedipalps by putting it in the sperm, and then they stick their pedipalps in the female. And the tibial hooks on the species that do have them are on the outside leg, like here and here. So they use those to hold up the female and not get eaten by her while they're fingering her with the pedipalps.
It sounds like unwanted physical contact.
Something like that. They basically do this. And the other difference is when you look at a molt before the males and females are mature, females will have an organ called the uterus externus, which looks like a flap. And
it just looks like a little pocket, kind of.
And every female of every species, or every species female, I should say, except for one, to my knowledge, there might be more, have what's called spermathecae, which is where the sperm goes into when the males mate with the females. The spermathecae has a distinct shape. Every species has a different shape spermathecae. So when you're looking at the molt, males will not have a flap or spermathecae. The one thing that is different is with Ensiopatella olivacea, females do not have spermathecae. To this day, I believe it's the only species, which means that it's the only species of female that can molt and still lay an egg sac after. Because most females, when they molt, the spermathecae molt with them. So if they had sperm stored, the sperm is gone with the molt. Because Olivacea do not have spermathecae to hold the sperm can remain when they molt, and they can still have a viable sac. So a lot of times you'll hear the term, "Oh, the female molted out," meaning she molted, therefore we have to remate her because the sperm is gone. That doesn't apply to Enseo olivacea. Which is nice, but not so nice because you don't know if she's going to have babies or not. But it's nice that you don't have to remate them to give it a chance.
Well, yeah, because like remating is going to increase the risk of your male getting eaten.
And your male may already be dead by the time she molts, because tarantula females, some of them can molt only once every couple of years. So your male may not be
alive anymore, even.
Yep. And if he is, he might be too old to mate.
Okay, so I know like male tarantulas, once they reach maturity, they're like always wandering and looking for a female. So will one looking for a female live longer than one that's mated with a female?
No. They're constantly still trying to look to mate until they can't anymore.
So they're just trying until their timeline runs out.
Or they get eaten. A lot of times a female tarantula will eat a male.
Why do they do that?
Partially because tarantulas are solitary, opportunistic feeders, and they basically just, especially the males, they live to mate and die. So the females oftentimes will eat it because not only are they not cannibalistic but opportunistic feeders, but also it will give them protein and energy to develop the egg sac and nourish the babies while they're growing inside her too.
The after sex sacrifice.
Pretty much. Although it's
just
not
by snoo.
Although it's not 100% usable, I guess you could say, in a way, because when tarantulas have egg sacs, they lay eggs. But I don't know if the protein from the meal will help give more nutrients, because the eggs,
they're already formed.
That's it. So
I would think it would give the female that extra nutrients that she's already used to develop the eggs.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so, yeah. It's more for the female. Maybe there's some tying with the eggs as well, but I think it's more to help the female recuperate after all that energy spent mating and giving.
Well, like deer and stuff like that, the does, after they give birth, they'll eat the placenta, 1, to hide the scent from predators, and 2, to get all that iron and stuff like that back into their body, and they are herbivores. So
yes.
It's just to get nutrients in. Like people.
Yeah, some people will have the placenta and they will boil it and put it into like a pill or something. I don't know exactly. And swallow
my friend ate her placenta, and it was the most metal thing I've seen in my life.
I've heard of people turning them into milkshakes.
Yeah, you can turn them into like pills and all kinds of stuff, and like
I've heard of it.
They asked us if we wanted ours, and we're like, no.
Yeah, I looked at mine and I was like, that could go to the medical waste pile.
Do you want this? No thanks.
Can we go back to talking about spiders, please? I don't like this topic.
We're gonna go back to tarantulas. So, does anyone have questions before I show you a few tarantulas?
I don't care. Show me the tarantulas.
Show us the goods.
Show you the goods. Okay. So I'm going to start by showing you some baby tarantulas that I have. We call them spiderlings. And I have to figure out how to turn my camera around.
Or eggs with legs.
Are
they eggs with legs, or are they bigger than that?
No, they're already spiderlings. It's like a few inches in. Is there a way to turn my camera around?
I don't know.
Yeah, I did it earlier. There's a button where you can click settings.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Only because I learned that
so
doing
I
the
am
live earlier.
I am in my living room right now, because the lighting is a little bit better here. So I'm gonna put my phone down just while I open to show you.
Yeet me into
And
that abyss.
there's not much that you're gonna be able to see because they are very tiny. But this is actually a Chilotacatl epicuranium, which is one of the red rums. It's hard to show you because it's very tiny, but it is right here. I wish my camera would take.
Right out of focus.
Trying to show you. It's there. Right there. I don't know. You can see the
Oh,
legs.
I can see it. I see it. I see it.
I saw legs.
I saw legs.
I'm going to try and so you can see it a little bit there. I'm gonna see if I can get it to come out a little bit, but it's very small, so I don't handle it yet because it's too small for that. Oh, I got it to run out just a little bit. It molted recently-ish too, but there it is.
Oh.
So this one's probably about 2 or 3 months old, I would say. I don't know exactly. And it's probably had 3 or 4 molts in its lifetime by now. They're a slower growing species, so that will take like 3-4 years if it's a female to mature.
What are instars? I see that talked about with spiders sometimes.
Instar is I'm going to leave my camera here. You can't see me. Instar is the number of molts it has had. Generally, they have different what do they call them? Sorry. Larval stages. Poecilotheria generally have 2, whereas tarantula, other species only have 1. So, like most tarantulas, they go from eggs with legs, to first instar, and then second instar. Poecilotheria go from eggs with legs to first instar from eggs with legs to something else to first instar and then second instar. So they have like a second larval stage between eggs with legs and first instar, or between first instar and second instar. What we call a second instar is actually the first molt after the larval stage. So a lot of times in Europe, you'll see it written as FH. I don't know why, or skins. Sometimes it'll be N1, N2. When you see N1, that's our equivalent to second instar, usually, but some places will call them first instar as well for N1 or L1, etc. But generally, N1 is supposed to be second instar. Second instar is the first shed since the larval stage of molt, and that is when they should be sold. They should not be sold before second instar, because that's usually when they're eating and viable on their. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, because your faces looked a little confused.
I'm trying to speak to Tyler with my face, and he doesn't understand. I'm still listening though.
Okay.
So I guess what size would they start eating?
That depends on species, because there are some species that second instar will be 1/16 of an inch. Other species, they'll be 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. Other species, 3/4 of an inch, or even an inch or an inch and a half. But as of second instar, that's when they should have already been eating on their own. So basically, once they go from eggs with legs to being second instar, because when they're eggs with legs, their next molt is second instar, except for Poecilotheria. Poecilotheria have a second molt between eggs with legs and becoming second instar. So it kind of goes like eggs with legs. Oh no, sorry. There's eggs with legs, first instar, and then second instar, whereas Poecilotheria, it's eggs, eggs with legs, something else, first instar, second instar. So they only usually will start eating as of second instar, which is why they shouldn't be sold before that point.
Tarantulas sound confusing.
A little bit. It's almost like a ball python, how it shouldn't be sold before it's eaten 3 to 4 meals. Because when they first hatch, you don't want to sell. You don't want to even do anything with them until they've had their first shed. Then they have their first shed. You feed them once. You wait a week and feed them again. You wait another week and feed them again.
Yeah.
You shouldn't just sell a baby hatchling that just hatched out of the egg.
Ideally not.
Same thing with tarantulas.
That sounds unethical.
Yeah. And I was going to say something. Also, because until their second instar, they haven't had a molt where they're like hardened up yet.
Oh, so then their like exoskeleton's pretty soft up until that point?
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So it really depends. And some of them won't eat right away anyway after they first become second instar. You might have to wait a while too. So that's why not before second instar and eating should a tarantula be sold. Scorpions, it works a bit differently. Basically, once they leave the mother's back, then they're okay to be separated, fed, and sold. Because they will molt once or twice on the mother's back after being born before they leave her back. So they stay on her back until they're ready to be on their own.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of information I didn't know at all.
This one that I'm going to show you next is a Brachypelma species. It's an albiceps, and it is right there. If you
I can see it.
Yes, this one's a little easier to see. So this is what they call the golden red rump sometimes. It was the only tarantula called the red rump that stayed Brachypelma, to my knowledge. Because all the other ones with red rump and their common name went to Tillotocatl, but this one stayed Brachypelma. So that's another species of little one. This one is a Lasiodora parahybana. I'm excited to show you guys this one because it's one of the more common tarantulas. Let me see if I can find it. It's hiding down here in this little place. I think you can see the legs a little bit.
Is it being a container of dirt?
Yes, basically. But I can see it a little bit there. I think you can see the legs a tiny bit. And that it's right next to, right next to my thumb, kind of. May or may not be able to see it if I turn it a little bit that way. You can see the legs right there, next to the masking tape.
Okay. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah. So Lasiodora parahybana, and I'm going to put my phone down for a sec while I close the lid again, is a tarantula that is called the salmon pink fur eater. It's a female adult size of about 8 inches, and they can have approximately 2,000 babies in an egg sac.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And what's really fucked up is that because they have so many, they're often given away as freebies with large tarantula orders. And I know of sometimes when they have egg sacs, they'll actually let them stay together and cannibalize until there's only about 400 or 500 left, because there's just no way they're going to sell 2,000 babies.
Yeah.
So I personally find it unethical to breed them. I understand like keeping the species, but I would wait till I had like 20 left and then maybe breed them. But that's just my personal opinion. And I have another one that's a little bit bigger, but I'm going to be trading, and it's going to be partial trade for a snake that I'm getting. That's there. Slightly bigger one. Parahybana. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's significantly bigger.
Yeah. And my last little one that I want to show you guys, well, second to last little one, oh, the next one's a bit bigger, is a Mexican red knee. This one's a lot bigger as well. It's Brachypelma hamori.
Those are pretty common, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but they were recently renamed. They used to be Brachypelma smithi, and then they realized that Anitha was not in the hobby and was really smithy, and the other ones in the hobby that were Brachypelma smithi were actually hamori. So I'm gonna try and get it to come out a bit because this one's starting to get the slight little colors on the knees, but very, very slightly. You can with this lighting and
Come on, phone.
not the best. Yeah, I wish I could. You can kind of see a bit there. It's starting to get the slight, not the color orange, but the parts that will be orange are starting to be lighter colored than the rest on the knees, showing where the orange will come in. So that's the Brachypelma hamori. And the last smaller one that I'm going to show you is my Tilotocata albopolosis. This one, if I remember right, was I think is the Nicaragua one that I have. Should be. But right now it's still too small to see the difference in hairs. So it's there. It's growing a little bit. I think I molted once since I had it in the summer. Or was it April when I got it? I'm trying to remember. I got it between like April and June this past year. So they all kind of look the same now, but as they get bigger, they will grow. And if we do an update video sometime in a few years from now, when all of these ones are bigger, you'll get to see how different. And these are all New World.
Yeah, because a lot of tarantulas, they kind of are like earthy toned when they're very young, and then as they mature, they gain their coloration.
Exactly.
Probably helps them hide a lot better.
Yes.
When they're younger, so they don't get eaten.
Exactly. Any questions before I move on to bigger tarantulas now?
I don't have any questions, and we don't have any current comments. So,
do you have a purple pink-toe tarantula?
Unfortunately, not.
They're so pretty.
I actually don't have any pink-toe tarantulas. I had a little baby avicularia, but it didn't do well for me. They are hard to keep alive as slings, and purple pink-toes are hard to find lately. I do have what's referred to as a purple tree spider, which is a Tapinochenia female. But she's not that purple. She's more very dark, blackish.
How come people can know all the Latin names for spiders, and people are just too fucking lazy to learn reptile Latin names? Get your shit together, people.
I really don't know. I wish that people knew the Latin names for everything. But it's hard with some snake species because they change a lot too. I find tarantula don't change names as often as certain, like I know corn snakes went from Alap to Pantherophis, and crested geckos went from being Rhacodactylus to being something else that I don't call Coryllophus ciliatus instead of Rhacodactylus.
Yeah, reptile genus names change a lot sometimes.
And I mean, everybody knows what a crested gecko is pretty much.
Yeah.
So
but
it's not
there isn't anything else out there that gets called a crested gecko, right? And there's so many more tarantulas and stuff like that, so it makes more sense to use the scientific names so that people know exactly what species you're talking about.
In North America, it's called a crested gecko, but I guarantee if you go to the country of origin, they don't know what the fuck a crested gecko is.
I believe they call them eyelash maybe over there.
Oh yeah, they are called eyelash geckos.
But either way, there's like two names for one lizard. There's no other lizard that is referred to as an eyelash gecko or a crested gecko.
A lot more of the uncommon species is easier to identify with their scientific name.
Yeah.
Like some of the snakes I want, there is no fucking common name, so you have to call them by their scientific name.
And same thing with Europlatus and Peltium geckos.
Well, like with my Strophurus, it's just easier to say Strophurus tanicata or Spinagarus or Williamsy instead of spiny-tailed gecko, southwestern spiny-tailed gecko, southeastern spiny-tailed gecko, or
just call them napalm geckos.
Spiny-tailed gecko. Like
we'll just call them napalm geckos from now on.
Right.
Sometimes scientific is just easier, but I also think that like it wouldn't be bad if that was kind of like a hobby standard to more commonly use scientific.
I think the problem is a lot of people don't know how to say Latin names, so they're just like, I'm just not going to try because I don't want to sound stupid. But Latin's a dead language, and nobody really knows how to pronounce it.
So either way, everyone's probably wrong at some point.
If you say it with a German accent, it sounds cool.
Oh yeah, like for example, I say Poecilotheria, but a lot of people call it Poecilotheria.
Maybe you're both right.
Maybe.
Oh.
So we don't have any questions or comments from viewers before I show bigger ones now?
No,
not currently.
Okay. This one is one of the bigger ones that I own. Not the biggest one I own because I do have a Nandu coloratobullosus who's bigger, but she's actually hiding tonight. She finally started to use her hide. So I'm going to show you this girl who is a pretty well full grown or very close to full grown. No, I'd say 3/4 of the way full grown. Brachypelma boemi. And you can see the urticating hairs on her abdomen. I'm not going to try and get her to kick hairs, but this is her natural color. Like, this is just my kitchen light, which sucks. Which you can see her colors are really that vibrant. This is one of the examples that I was saying that depending on the country could be called a blood leg, red leg, fire leg, flame leg, or red leg. But normally it's Mexican blood leg or fire. No, sorry, fire leg is the most common name I've heard.
And that's a New World, is it?
Yes, it is a New World. She has the urticating hairs on the abdomen that she could kick off, and has kicked off at me many times in the past. I don't
Are the hairs on the legs the same, or is it just the butt hair?
It's really just the abdomen hairs. But I know that they use their legs to rub the hairs off. So the hairs on the legs help to kick them off, and when they kick them off, they usually kick them in a cloud. So it's really not fun to be around. I'm just going to put her down on the ground and put all the little ones on top of her.
Like getting crop dusted with fiberglass.
Pretty much.
Kind of. Now, here are two old world tarantulas. These are Monocentropus balfouri. And they are communal. They can live more than one together. It's actually not good to separate mothers from, or babies from the mother until they are second or third instar, because supposedly she secretes something to help feed them and take care of them. It's one of the only tarantula species that do that. I'm going to try and get one of them to come out. Surprisingly enough, I do handle these, even though they are old world, because they are relatively calm. I do not recommend this to anyone, but I've had them since they were quite younger, and not that they can learn to, associate me or anything, but I managed to keep them okay with being handled if I can get them to come out. I think they're more just nervous, so they run onto my hand. Here's one.
So they have like brown bodies with blue legs, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to try and show off if I can get it onto my hand with the bad lighting in here. Well, I can't. It's not cooperating right now. Hang on. Come here, buddy.
You need a
I don't
cat
know.
cup.
Yeah, I don't know if these are male or female. Whoops, he's running on my leg. Come here.
It seems like a spider waiting, a tarantula waiting to escape.
Yeah, not quite. Although
This
I
is
did
like
one
me
time
trying to
run
handle
out.
my geckos.
Yeah, I had one run out and go under my bed into a bag once, so that was fun. I had him on my hand for about a sec. I'm saying him, but I haven't sexed these yet because since they're in the same container, I don't know which one comes from which one. There we go. I finally got it. So I don't know if you can see the blue coloration. It's kind of like looking dark right now.
It looks black in the video, but like it's like a royal blue. It's really pretty.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to pick up a lot of colors in video. Sometimes they don't show up well.
If I had my
And then
flash,
Facebook also butchers everything.
if I was
Yes.
able to use flash while being in video, then I could show you. You can kind of see that it's blue a bit. I wish I had. Do I have a type of flashlight? I don't have a type of flashlight. Let me see if I hold it up to the light a little better. If you can see the blue a little bit more this way under the light.
I think everyone's just getting blinded by my big white face.
Is it just black still looking, or does it look a little bluer now?
Yeah, it still looks black.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can assure you it's actually blue. I'm going to put it back before it runs away. There's the other one.
And then we also know Kiana's face is very reflective.
I always turn my like computer brightness down when I'm doing these videos, otherwise I just get so like whitewashed because I'm like glow in the frickin' dark. And like my computer screen's making me blue.
I wonder if you could see the blue against the white webbing. No? Still
No.
look black?
Yeah.
Okay. I tried. I don't have a flashlight, otherwise that would have helped. But so those are Monocentropus balfouri. They are old world. Oh yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but if you look at the abdomen, there is no urticating hairs. They do have some hair, but they're not urticating hairs compared to the Brachypelma.
Okay.
Now this girl is another old world. Of course, she went to hide in the plant. I can't show you very well what she is, but I'm going to try and get her out. She is a Poecilotheria metallica, which is the Goody Sapphire ornamental in common names, which I hate.
It's the pretty blue one that you always see in pictures.
Yes. Going to try and get her to come out. I have held her once. I managed to get her once onto me. She didn't bite me, which I was very happy about. And there she is. I don't know if you'll see her blue.
Are old worlds quicker to bite because they know it'll get you to fuck off, essentially?
No, it's more that they are, because they don't have urticating hairs, it's their only defense mechanism if they feel threatened is to bite. I don't know if you can see her blue either, or if it just looks black.
No. It just looks black.
Okay, she's actually on my jeans right now. I wasn't.
Keep it PG. Kidding, there's nothing PG about us.
Yeah, right.
Not PG, but it's not XXX.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, she's actually on my. She was on my hand for a sec. Maybe now you can see her blue a little bit. but probably not that much. Anyway, I don't want to lose her.
I always see stories about people like losing their tarantulas in their room. And they're like, yeah, 6 months later, I looked at my curtain and there she was.
That's funny.
But I would not like a tarantula loose in my house.
Yeah, me neither.
I do not have that problem because I do not have any tarantulas, and my wife does not want any in the house. I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Tyler wants a scorpion.
Scorpions are cool.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be like with a scorpion.
No, she crawled up my arm and I don't know where she went. So I gotta
Oops.
No, not oops. She's on my hoodie, probably. Just no.
Pause for technical difficulties.
That's why I thought I'm gonna put down my phone. This will be easier for me.
Tarantula difficulties.
The good thing is she's a lot lighter colored than my couch. So
Yeah, she's bright blue. You'll see her right away with like yellow.
yep. I'll see her right away. My luck, she went into the cage and it seemed like she didn't.
She just went to bed.
And I'll be looking for her for like a while, thinking she got out, and she didn't.
Insert Jeopardy music here. I think this is the first time somebody's lost something while we're doing a stream.
I didn't lose it.
I didn't lose her.
Not yet. You just can't find it. So if you can't find it, it's lost, right?
It's temporarily on the walk somewhere, is what I'm saying.
Not all those who wander are lost. She's just adventuring.
Went for a walkabout.
You gotta be Canadian. It's a wookaboot.
We'll just get Tyler on here to say that. I'm pretty sure he'll say it real well.
No Newfie. I'll like be flipping through TikTok and he'll be like, I follow this like one Newfie lady who like she has a Newfie word of the day, and I'm like, you know that word? And he's like, yeah. Or like it would be like Newfie moms giving their kids shit. And I'm like, was it like that? And he's like, yeah. When he calls his parents, his accent gets extra thick all of a sudden.
That's because they won't be able to understand each other without it.
I knew someone who, when they spoke to their mother, spoke in like a weird American Asian accent version so that she could understand them.
Weird. Well, not weird, but
there she is. I told you I would find her. I knew it.
Temporarily lost.
She went exactly. She went exactly where I thought that she went, because she went behind my shoulder, down my hoodie arm, behind my couch cushion.
Oops.
Now,
I'll be right back. Brandon, you're a one-man show right now.
Uh-oh.
She is now safely back into her container.
There we go.
Just to prove to you that I did find her and that she wasn't gone or missing, because I pretty much knew where she went. If she wasn't on the couch, I knew she was going to be in the couch cushion, because there was no other place for her to go from my hoodie arm. And I was sitting, so she probably went down my back right into there. So, yes, I can handle that Metallica without getting bitten. No, I do not recommend it.
So what else do you got to show us? A couple more, or?
I have one more that I was going to show you guys tonight, just a bigger Albopolysis. That is a new world that I can handle a lot easier because it's calmer.
Awesome.
But I'm going to take a quick sip of Pepsi first. Do we have any questions from the viewers?
We do not.
I'm surprised.
We had lots at the beginning. Not so many now.
Are the viewers all still the same watching?
I am not sure. It tells me how many viewers we have, but it doesn't tell me who's watching.
Ah. Right. So, I guess we should wait for Kiana, no?
Nah, we'll get on with the show. Lem's saying an older tarantula. So the one that you're about to show us.
No, it's well, yes, it's an older one than the little babies, but it's not an adult. So this is a juvenile Tocatl blossom hobby form, who I can also handle. Oh, you see, it was starting to kick hairs a bit, but I can still handle it anyway. I can also turn it on its back, and it will stay calm. Which
how old is it?
Probably a year and a half or 2, maybe 3 years old, because they're also slow growing, but not as slow growing as other Tocatl or Brachypelma.
And this one's female or male?
I haven't.
How do you sex them generally?
Molt. Molt is the best way. A lot of people say they can ventral sex tarantulas, but it's highly inaccurate because if you don't know what you're looking for, you'll get it wrong. And when you take pictures to post on the internet to try and ventral sex, a lot of times you can be wrong because a picture just isn't very clear on the internet.
Do you have to use like one of those jewelry magnifying glass things? I can't remember the actual word for it all of a sudden.
Not for one this size. For a spiderling, yes, but for one this size, it would be very clear on the molt.
Okay.
Usually once they're about 3 inches and larger, 3 to 4 inches and larger, it becomes fairly evident. I'll actually go get a molt from my Nandu coloretobolosis female to show you guys this from Rathicae, because she's got, basically I'm going to say this very derogatorily, she's just got a very big pussy. So I'll go get that to show you. I didn't bring it out because it's delicate, so I was only going to go pick it up when I need to. So I will be right back to show you guys that.
Okay. And then you can answer some more questions from Lem, because Lem's amazing and she's asking you all these questions. This kind of also makes me want to get tarantulas, almost. But the boss doesn't let me. Because I've suggested it. Yeah. If you guys have any more questions, post them in the comments.
So this mold has dried up since she first had it, so it's a little bit harder for me to show. But if you look here, in between the top first set of book lungs here, I'm going to open this a little bit, or try to. Okay, so you can see there's a little flap and 2 things pointing. That's her uterus externus and her spermathaceae. I don't know how well it shows up on camera.
It was a little blurry, but
it's at the top inside, in between the 2 white book lungs, because there's 4 book lungs, those white circles.
okay.
In between the top 2. Try not to cast a shadow on it. You can see the little flap in part of the spermathaceae.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's a female. I don't have a molt from a male, but I do have a mature male tarantula that I could show you if he didn't die on me. But even if he did, I can still show you the hooks on him. I'll go get him first, but just because he's slowing down a lot, he may have already died. I'm expecting him to die anytime now. I bought him as a mature male already, so I don't know how long he's been mature.
Okay. Yeah, because males don't live very long after they mature.
No.
I don't know anything about tarantulas besides what I've learned today. I hope everybody liked the paleo herpetology episode that we released. That was super cool. It was a really great opportunity for us. And I hope the listeners learned a lot.
So he did die, but I can still probably show you on him, which doesn't surprise me because he's quite old. So he must have just died in the last week. But he did mate. Unfortunately, the female molted. You can see. Can you see the tibial hooks a bit? Okay. So here are the tibial hooks, or the tibial hook on his front leg.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. The lighting's not very great.
Okay, hang on. See that little thing poking out under the leg?
Oh, yeah.
That's the tibial hook.
Okay.
These are the bulbous pedipalps, but they're kind of covered in earth. But
Yeah.
you can see how they're kind of rounded and bulbous looking.
That's cool.
Yeah. So he died. He finally found the time. So I will be cleaning out this bin and probably using it for something else at some point.
Lem had a question. How long does it take to reach maturity, adulthood? So I guess it would vary from male to female and species.
Yes. So Grammostola species, females and males will take 8 to 10 years to mature, sometimes a bit longer. Generally, females will mature slower than males. So you can have a mature male, faster growing species of it, like mature in 1.5 years, and the female could take 3 to 5 years. But most medium to faster growing species, 3 to 5 years for a female to be mature, 1 to 2 years for a male, with the exception of the species that take 8 to 10 years to mature.
Wow. I was wondering if I have another guest lined up for the next podcast. I do. And the episode's already recorded, so.
I'm going to just wash my hands quickly, and I will be back. And if you have any other questions, ask them. I will be happy to answer. But that completes my demonstration portion of the video.
Demonstration on how to lose a tarantula and find it behind your couch cushion. Yeah, so our next episode is also on tarantulas. So I'll give you that as a hint, Lem. It's also about tarantulas, but it's going to be different conversation because it might be a similar topic, but every conversation with everyone we have is always different. So I learned a lot from that episode because Kiana was having technical difficulties with her computer, so she got that fixed. And so she'll be able to record the next episode with us. And we do not have a guest lined up for that yet, but we have a couple potential people.
What was I going to say? I didn't lose my tarantula. I knew where she went. It was. I checked my hoodie first, but she probably went from my hoodie there while I was checking. Oh, there's a mold. Part of a mold here. Oh, it came from that. Any other questions for me, or is Kiana even coming back?
I don't know. She had to go meet Mark Smith at her place, so I'm not
Who's
sure
Mark
if she's gonna be. He's her friend. He moved from BC to Olds, so so right where she lives. So he builds like enclosures and does a lot of bearded dragons and stuff like that. So he is pretty involved with the BCRC and a bunch of other stuff. So hopefully he joins the Alberta Reptile Amphibian Society. So see how that goes. He sounded pretty interested. So because I'm the vice president, and yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on here in Alberta, a bunch of law changes and stuff like that. So we're working on finding a lawyer for municipal laws and potentially fighting municipalities against some of these bylaws that they're doing. So because it could be a potential case of gross overreach.
Interesting. Not fun.
Yeah, no, because they're banning boas in some municipalities and pythons. So you can't have a sand boa.
That's ridiculous.
That makes no sense. And I've already brought it up to them that the fact that Alberta has legislation in place where it bans all the large pythons, anacondas, anything that's large and dangerous that most people can't keep. So, and everything, all venomous that is medically significant is banned. So we can't have boya here either, which is very, very sad. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we can't have. And then some of these municipalities are banning all insects and all spiders.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's and that also turns the people that live in those towns and areas into criminals, because there's no grandfather clause, because one of the towns up north, Fort McMurray, they instituted some of these laws, and people are now getting rid of their pythons and boas because they are worried that the town's going to come and find them and then take their animals. So that's making people do things illegally. So they're not going to go seek medical attention for their animals if they need it. They're going to go dump their animals into the bush, which does not help animal welfare at all, because these bylaws are driven by what they say is animal welfare. So they're trying to make it so the animals get better care, but by banning the species that are legal within the province does not help the situation.
Right.
So it's going to be a legal battle, because anything with laws is always a legal battle. So something that we're looking into, finding lawyers for, and talking with PJAC, which is the Pet Industry Joint Association Council, I think it is, something like that. But they deal with a lot of laws too, so I got to give them a call here and get an update soon, because I made a bunch of phone calls to some other organizations that can help us out, because this not only affects Alberta, it can affect a lot of other places as well, because it affects the pet industry sales over Canada. So because like people in Fort McMurray, there's a lot of people out there with probably 50, 100 ball pythons or boas or whatever. So that's a lot of animals for people to not be able to keep anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it affects businesses too. So.
Yep, and I always say, like, people like the SPCA, I joke, I call them the Society for the Promotion of Cruelty Towards Animals, not prevention, because they do a lot of shady shit.
Especially with exotics, because they're not prepared for housing those animals. And most people don't think of when people think exotics, they just think of snakes, lizards, birds, and stuff like that. That also includes your guinea pigs, your rabbits, and anything that's not a dog, cat, or a farm animal.
Mm-hmm.
So when these towns are banning exotics, like some of them proposed bans on, they use the word exotics. And I'm like, talking to them on the phone, I was like, you realize you're banning somebody's guinea pig. And they're like, what? And they didn't understand.
Hi.
You're back.
Reptile people talk forever.
Well, yeah. Have you seen how long some of our episodes are?
Yeah, I know. It's a little chilly out, standing in the middle of the street.
It's Tip-It Nipply in Alberta lately, so. LM's wondering if you're Ontario.
The live stream to see what you missed. No, I'm actually in Quebec and near Montreal.
Yeah, I was just kind of talking to Chad.
I speak very well English because I am Anglophone, as they call it here, or English Quebecer or Canadian. But I do speak French and Spanish. But I have lived in so many places that my accent is all fucked up, and it seems to match when I'm talking to people. My accent kind of matches them a little bit. But I've noticed that now as I'm speaking, I'm intentionally pronouncing things almost like an American would. That Alberta accent melding with mine, and because I used to live in the States, it's all coming out now.
Yeah, I was kind of just discussing to him about the Alberta law changes and stuff that Terra's is kind of working with. We're also working with ARAs on that too, so we're going to combine funding from both organizations. So I meant the ARAs group is just north of Calgary, so there's two groups in Alberta.
Don't you guys also have PJAC helping with that as well?
Yeah, I got to call PJAC again because they haven't got back to me lately. So
sorry, I was just inhaling diesel fumes.
Our next meeting's on the 27th, so I got to call PJAC for an update, and hopefully they have one by the next meeting. So. But yeah,
showing my now dead mature male Tilotocatalabophilausus.
Why is it now dead? Did it die on this episode?
No.
Okay.
He's been mature since I had him. I bought him as a mature male, and I don't know how long he was mature when I got him. So he actually mated a female, but she molted out, unfortunately. The last few weeks he's been slowing down, so I expected him to die. And today when I went to check, now just to show you guys mature male hooks and stuff, I noticed he is dead. He was alive when I checked on him a week and a half ago, I think, because I went to change his water because he's in a bin, a top Sterilite, or no, it's a Dollarama KI bin. It holds humidity pretty well, but they don't need humidity. They like it a bit drier anyway. So I don't change the water dish often for tarantulas like that, or even some of them I don't even give a water dish. I'll just like spray the substrate or whatever. But I went to change his water last week because he had nothing left, and he was very slow. I don't even know if he was slightly moving his leg. So I knew his end was coming soon.
After they have their final molt, like, did they stop eating, or did they just eat way less?
Some of them will stop eating, some will eat a little bit, but as they get closer to dying, they stop eating and basically just try and mate. They will still drink sometimes, which is why I kept water for him. And once in a while, they'll still eat, but most of them won't eat anymore.
Why is putting a sponge in their water bad?
So, sponges inhibit bacteria. They also can get their fangs caught in them if they try and bite them to drink from them. So, the misconception with sponges is that it was to help prevent drowning. Tarantulas cannot drown. They end up floating. Maybe a tiny sling might be able to drown in water because it wouldn't be able to escape if you have a water dish.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, an inch or bigger, they physically can't drown. They will float. They're, what is it, buoyant? Is that the word?
Yeah, buoyant.
Basically, yeah. So they can't drown.
They won't break the tension of the water
No.
unless they like get splunked in there, I guess.
Maybe. There are some tarantulas that swim supposedly, and people will have water features for those. They supposedly fish a little bit, but I've never really seen them do it in captivity that much, so I wouldn't do it for myself, but some have. And the other misconception about sponges or people using pebbles is they didn't want like crickets to drown in the water when they went in to feed if they didn't get eaten right away. But with tarantulas, if they don't eat within a few hours or the next day, you should be removing uneaten food anyway, because they could be in pre-molt, and a cricket in there that it doesn't want to eat will stress it out. So putting something to stop the crickets drowning in the water is not needed either if you're properly caring for your tarantulas.
What are some other like misconceptions with tarantulas that just like grind your gears that you want to teach us about?
They're gonna come out and kill me if I come to your house. They're not deadly, first of all. Second of all, why is it going to come out the day that you come over and kill you, and not any other day and come out and kill me when you're not there?
Well, I just don't think people like comprehend that we have these things in secure enclosures.
Yeah, every time I tell people I have snakes, they think I have 20 snakes free roaming around my house.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I just wonder what time, or I'm trying to read comments. I wonder what goes through people's heads when they just blurt out that stupid shit.
I hate just verbal diarrhea.
No, but I hate when people say, kill it with fire.
I'm going to kill you with fire.
Yeah, exactly. Go fuck yourself, hun.
Hit him with the hard T.
Yes.
I don't know.
I have no filter, so I say it like it is, and I say what's on my mind, and people don't like that in Facebook groups. People are so offended lately, it's not even funny.
Everyone's always getting mad at you for deleting their posts that don't follow the damn rules.
Did you see that in Canadian ball python forums? Did you see it in tarantulas in Canada?
No, I didn't. That group doesn't pop up on my timeline very often, so I don't see too many of the posts.
There's this guy that was like, I got new babies in. They were in things that were way too big. So somebody said that to him. And he was like, I got like this notification of a comment being reported. So I go to look what the comment was, and all it was your enclosures are a bit too big. You should move them into smaller enclosures. And basically, more or less, he said, stop right now. So I wrote a comment saying, okay, what is the issue here? She's giving you advice. And he started saying I was being mean to him and that I shouldn't chastise him in public. I'm like, nobody's chastising you. We're trying to help because we care about animals, because we are animal enthusiasts and passionate about them. So if we see something wrong, we're going to correct it. This is an educational group.
People always say I'm mean. No, you're just wrong.
Mm-hmm. And the group owner deleted the post because I tagged her in it, because she always tells me, tag me when there's something, whatever. So I did. And then she removed it. She's like, I'm not dealing with this drama shit. He hasn't made a post saying, Chad, you deleted my post yet. But I was expecting it. I don't know if he left. And he started telling me that I was insulting him because I said, stop being a Karen. But he didn't know what a Karen was. And some people wrote, is this a troll post? Because the way he was acting like a troll. So he reported that comment. And he goes, you're insulting me at one point. I said, no, trust me. If I wanted to insult you, I would have and could have a long time ago. I said, I will repeat one last time. And then you have two choices. You can, we are trying to help you, whatever. And then I said, your two choices are, one, you accept the advice and stop arguing, Or 2, you don't listen and you do what you want, but you stop arguing. And he stopped arguing pretty much after that. He wrote something like, "You're still upset."
Facebook groups, drama central.
And the one in Canadian Ball Python forums actually messaged me. And then the last thing I said to him was "by Kimsley," but his name was actually Kingsley, but I did a typo. And then I blocked him, so I didn't even correct it. So he's probably starting to type, "My name's not Kimsley."
Brandon always asks me why I can't type with cap locks on.
Because you never can.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe because less words get auto-corrected because it's cap locks and I just don't give a fuck. Because you can't spell either, so you should be able to translate any of the jargon that I send you.
But when it's in capital lock, it makes no fucking sense.
Hey, come on. I have to, tell you to speak English all the time.
Yeah, once in a while.
Those certainly are words, Brandon.
Wait,
they don't form a sentence.
To speak English?
I speak English on a good day.
Yeah,
No,
it sounded like
it sounded like she said to speak English.
It's probably because that's what she said.
Probably.
She can't speak it or type it.
Is Falcor, or is Atticus trying to get Falcor?
Yeah, they're having a stare down.
That's funny.
Okay, any more tarantula questions? Because
we have no more comments. But where can people find you?
So, I'm on Facebook. I am, once again, if you want to find these links and put them in the comments for people.
It is already in the comments.
No, but the tarantula group and the scorpion group that I run.
Give me 2 seconds.
I don't know if you're in the scorpions and tarantula group.
I'm not, but if you add me, I can.
I have to leave this page too. And do that.
Hang on. Is it Scorpions Canada?
Scorpions in Canada. So you can find me on those 2 Facebook groups, Tarantulas in Canada and Scorpions in Canada.
I can't find the group.
For real?
Yep.
Scorpions in Canada. 3 words.
I typed in.
Were they English words?
Yeah, they're spelled correctly. Oh, okay, there it is. It's just new Facebook.
Yeah. So I own the Scorpions in Canada group, and I am the main admin on Tarantulas in Canada.
Okay, do I have to answer these questions then?
What questions? Post them up.
Let me in.
It's the questions for the group.
Oh.
We'll post the groups in the comments once the video ends.
Yeah, no, I'm getting them right now.
You can also contact me directly on Facebook, Chad Miller. I have a Twitter that I don't really use under Reptile Guy 1987, which is my birth year. I'm 33 years old as of yesterday. I'm old.
What's the tarantula group?
Tarantulas in Canada. You can also find me on my page, Importation Miller, which is already in the comments, or if you want to pronounce it the English way, Importations Miller. It's because the word for import in French is Importation, and I live in Quebec, so I decided to conform to Quebec. Although I heard that because my name is in it, I could have just called it Miller Imports. But there's a lady named Sarah Miller who breeds ball pythons, and I think her name might be Miller Exotic. We're not related.
Your name sets you apart.
Yeah.
And it's easy enough words to translate that most people are like, oh, I wonder what that could be.
Exactly.
So it's not like it's some ridiculous French word that people are like, what?
Exactly.
Because just because French was mandatory for me to learn doesn't mean I retained anything other than like bonbon.
Yeah.
Bonjour.
Honestly, the best way to reach me is probably Facebook or my page because those come to my phone.
Do you want me to post your
Email,
Facebook profile too?
You could, and you can post my email address as well. I don't mind that.
All the ways to contact you. And everybody knows how to contact us or listen
I'm
to
not
us.
putting my phone number, but everything else is fine.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, go check out our Patreon, guys.
Please.
And YouTube and Instagram and Facebook.
I have a YouTube channel, but I haven't used it in a long time.
We just post these on YouTube, basically.
Yeah, for now.
My email is chadzmiller@yahoo.ca.
Yeah, and find us on your favorite podcasting platform.
We're everywhere.
So you could just Google search us and find us.
And like and share and subscribe and comment and do all those social media interactions.
Leave us a review.
Yeah, we like those. I found reviews for us on like some random website. And I have like no, like they're not on our Apple or anything like that. And they were just on some random website, but we got great reviews.
That's good.
I guess.
Nah. Well, I'm willing and able to answer almost all your tarantula questions, multiple scorpion questions. I'm not as well versed with scorpions. I started a group because there was no Canadian group. A lot of people go in tarantulas in Canada and put scorpion stuff, and I usually tell them
Go
that
to
they
our
would.
sister group.
Yeah, I basically tell them like this would be best posted in scorpions in Canada because there are a couple of people in scorpions in Canada, such as Katrina Brown, who is really well versed in scorpions, much more than I am. I know a lot of general care. I know many species. But as far as being able to sex scorpions, I'm not good at it at all. I know that it's either the males or the females that have bigger pectines. I always forget which.
Are those the claws?
No, they're underneath. They're these white things that make a V with little they look like combs.
Anyways, I gotta get out of here. I got a lasagna in the oven.
I haven't heard about the lasagna.
Oh, we have a quick question
from my mom.
Dangerous scorpion would be the Lyris quinquestriatus or the Androcnus australis, and both of those are 5-on-5. They used to make a chart with how dangerous they were by 1 to 5 poison signs, and those are the two that were 5-on-5. So one of them is the Death Stalker, which is the Lyris quinquestriatus. That is said to be the deadliest scorpion in the world, and the other is Androcnus australis, which is a species of fat-tailed scorpion. The reason it is considered just as deadly as the Deathstalker is because the Deathstalker has the most potent venom as far as how dangerous the venom is, the toxicity. But the Australis supposedly can pump out a larger quantity of extremely dangerous venom, which is just as deadly. But it's very rare that people die from them, supposedly. I guess because they don't live near people.
Yeah, if you're not messing with them, you're not gonna get killed by them. So it's like people ask me all the time, "What's the most venomous snake? The one that bites you."
Exactly, the one.
So
that
don't fuck with them.
The one that kills you dead.
Yes.
All right. Well, shut up. Don't forget to grab life by the hemipedes.
Oh, also, we're getting stickers made that say, "Don't forget to grab life by the hemipedes." So keep an eye out for those.
And let us know if you want one, because we can let you know when they're in.
Yeah, we're doing holographic stickers this time. They look
and if you want to
badass.
see what they look like, go to our Facebook page and scroll back a few posts.
Yeah.
Awesome. Have a good night, guys. I have to put my kids to bed 37 minutes ago.
Later.